Kane heard Kakashi mumble from above him. Kakashi's hand on his forehead. You don't seem to have a fever. I'm not sure what's wrong with you. If I'm being honest here, Kane, Kakashi said with trepidation. Kane was lying down in his bed, sick as a dog. He felt terrible. He doesn't even know what's wrong. All he knows is he feels heavy. The same feeling he gets when standing on the bridge with his team hit him full force last night. Only so much worse. He thought he was going to die. Literally. We should get you to the hospital, Kane. No, Kane mumbled out loudly and fiercely as he managed in his condition. Kakashi recoiled slightly in surprise before nodding slowly. All right, no hospital. I think I can understand why you wouldn't want to go there. Kane opened a single eye to stare at Kakashi. Yes, Kane, I'm aware of the QB, Kakashi said, while examining him for any hint about what could be wrong. Kane closed his eye and breathed a sigh of relief. Kakashi-sensei knew, but he didn't seem to hate him. Or he was just really good at hiding it. Kane missed 3 days of training, but he still didn't feel the greatest. He felt better though. He was going back to training tomorrow. Kakashi came by every night with food and got him to eat, which he was eternally grateful for. When he asked about Naruto and Sasuke, Kakashi told them they knew he was sick, and he told them to leave him be and not bother him. Kane isn't sure, but he thinks he thinks he did that knowing Kane would want them to see his living conditions. It's funny, really, how grateful that made him. He remembered being angry that neither of them came to check up on him when he was upset over finding out he was a Jinchuriki. He never even thought about how embarrassing it would be for them to see his apartment. That night, Kane decided to head to the library. He still wasn't feeling the best, but he knew he couldn't get any sleep, so he might as well do something productive. Besides, he was so tired of being at home alone with just Jane to keep him company. It was boring, lonely. He paused as the heaviness increased twofold. He took several steps back. Instant relief. Well, it passed at least. A couple steps forward. The pain worsened again. 2 steps back. Relief. What was going on with him? Why did walking forward cause his illness to act up all of a sudden? He decided to power his way through it. As he kept walking, the weight got worse and worse. It felt like somebody was steadily stacking bricks atop his shoulder, adding a brick with every step he took. Just when he thought he was going to collapse, the pain disappeared. He looked around, nothing unusual about where he was. It was the usual route he took to the library. He took another step forward and heard a small splash. Kane looked down to see he had stepped in a puddle. He stepped out of the puddle and kept on his way. The weight began settling over him again. He stepped back. Relief. Kane glanced at the puddle again. It can't be. He took a step forward, then back, then forward, then back. This weird weight I'm feeling is coming from this puddle. He leaned down and touched the water with his fingertips. Soothing pleasure tingling down his back like a waterfall. Wait, it's not the puddle. It's the water. And suddenly it made sense. The weird feeling he felt while on the bridge, there was a river under the bridge. Water under the bridge. Several nights ago when he got sick, it had just started raining. The reason it took several days for him to get better, he had to wait for the village to dry up after the storm. Why was water making him feel this way? He reluctantly pulled his fingertips out of the water. It felt so soothing. He gasped as the water followed his fingers. Kane quickly jerked his hand out of the water. The water jerked upwards. Suddenly, Kane was staring at a thin trail of water coming out from under the ground and reaching his eye level. What was going on? Kane focused on the water, and then he could practically feel it. The same soothing sensation like a gentle spray on a naked back during a warm summer. It engulfed his entire being. Cain stared down at the water and said one single word, "Down," and the water dropped, as if it was only just now remembered to follow the laws of gravity. Cain's mouth also dropped. That was so cool. As Cain slowly walked away from the puddle, he realized the heavy weight was gone. The soothing sensation was not. Nothing. Not a single thing. Cain could not find anything at all to explain the weird phenomenon that had happened to him last night. Then again, the library was big. There was plenty of other books that he could check at another time. Still, he was frustrated. As Kakashi-sensei finally made his appearance and the four of them entered the training ground, Cain smiled. He hadn't felt any weight while walking, at all while waiting on the bridge. Instead, the water seemed to soothe him. It was a welcome change. As the training was wrapping up, Cain spotted Sasuke making his way towards him. "Hey, dead last, mind explaining what happened at the barbecue restaurant?" Cain blinked in mild surprise. "I'm sorry?" Sasuke rolled his eyes. "Unlike the idiot over there, I'm not blind. Why did the chef spit in your food?" Oh. Ah, are you sure you weren't imagining it?" Cain asked as he scratched at the back of his head in awkwardness. Sasuke glared at him. "No." Cain didn't know what to say. "You're clearly on bad terms with the chef. Did you piss him off or something?" Cain blinked. Sasuke had just given him his out. Yeah, once I tried stealing from him." Sasuke's eyebrows raised up to his hairline in surprise. Oops, maybe he shouldn't have said that. "Why?" he asked with suspicion. Does it matter? The fact is I did it and now he hates me." Sasuke grunted in reply. "Why didn't you tell us? We could have gone somewhere else." "Because it would have been the same thing no matter where we went." "Because Naruto won fair and square. That's where she wanted to eat." "So, if you told the idiot that the chef had it out for you, she wouldn't have hesitated to choose somewhere else." Cain narrowed his eyes. "That's not true. If you asked her the same thing, she would have argued with you about it." Sasuke rolled his eyes again at this. "Yeah, because I'm not you." Cain blinked rapidly in shock. "What?" Sasuke snorted. "Don't tell me you can't see the obvious. That idiot's got a soft spot for you." Cain wasn't sure he believed that, and it must have shown on his face. "Believe whatever you want. I was just curious." "Cain, bastard, let's go home." The two turned as Naruto hollered at them near the entrance to the training grounds. As Sasuke began walking off, Cain followed with a sigh of relief that the conversation was over. He dodged a bullet there, thankfully. He glanced at Naruto, Sasuke's words swimming through his head. It was a calm night. No one was around to harass him. Nobody was there to belittle him, or taunt him, or call him a demon. This was different, though. This was beyond calm. This was serene. As Cain stared into the softly flowing river beneath the bridge that was Team 7's official meeting spot, he felt calmer than he had in weeks, months even. Up. Nothing happened. Cain's eyes furrowed as he considered this. Slowly he reached out and put his fingers into the river. He gasped immediately as he felt the change. It was magnificent. He could feel them, all the little fish swimming around. He could sense them. He didn't know how to explain it. He could just feel them. It was like their very essence was pure chakra, similar to how Naruto looked when she performed her multi-shadow clone jutsu. He could tell where every living being was and where each one was going. He could feel the push and pull of the river, slowly and calmly guiding along the surface of the earth, brushing against the dirt and rocks, yet causing minimal disturbance. He began to pull his fingers out of the river, and just like the last time, the water seemed to follow him. Cain suddenly realized he was steadily pumping chakra out from his fingertips. He cut off the flow of chakra, and the water dropped back to the river. Was this what elemental affinity was like? Somehow he doubted this was normal. That was okay. Nothing with him ever seemed to be normal anyways. As he continued to stare into the river, he felt something strange. It was as if he suddenly realized that the water was filled with chakra. That didn't make sense. Water didn't have chakra. Only living beings had chakra, and the river was way too big for it to be chakra coming from the creatures within. No, Cain realized the water wasn't chakra. It just felt like chakra. To him, his chakra. Cain slowly stood up. He put one hand out and focused. He imagined the water rising, flowing around him. He imagined he was a tree and the water was his chakra. He needed to place his chakra onto the tree. Not too much, not too little. Just like with the tree climbing exercise. And the water rose. Cain wasn't sure if he should tell his team about his newfound abilities. He wasn't stupid. He knew the only logical explanation was that he had awakened some sort of Kekkei Genkai. The thought filled him with excitement. He also knew how heavily the village valued Kekkei Genkai. All shinobi villages did. He wasn't sure what the protocol was, but if his Kekkei Genkai was something new, which he figured it had a high chance of being due to never reading about any sort of water Kekkei Genkais in the Hidden Leaf Village, he certainly knew. He knew certain safety procedures would take place to ensure his survival, and passing along the ability to the next generation for the village. Cain didn't want to deal with any of that. He just found out he was the QB's jailer, and now he had a weird Kekkei Genkai that made him violently ill sometimes. Although, to be fair, he hasn't felt the heavy weight since he first used this newfound ability. He was getting sidetracked. "Alright, I'll see you three tomorrow for more D-rank missions," Kakashi said with an eye smile. "Ah! Kakashi! When are we going to do another C-rank?" Naruto yelled out in frustration. Kakashi simply shushined away. "That little..." As Naruto began ranting, Cain and Sasuke followed her as she made her way towards the exit, stomping her feet in a mature display of a temper tantrum as he did so. Honestly, it was not like he was going to ask any of them for help. He was used to doing things alone, and he didn't expect that to change anytime soon. I swear if I get my hands on... Besides, if his Kekkei Genkai was indeed a new one, or at least one not found in the Hidden Leaf, then Kakashi would most likely not be of any help in the first place. With itching powder and... Shut up, you idiot! Sasuke snapped at Naruto, having enough of her whining. "You bastard, you want to go? I'll kick your..." This could also be a blessing in disguise. He wanted to build a character. He wanted to become unique. And finding out that Kyuubi gave him that, it wasn't enough to make up for the years of torture he went through. Not even close. It was something like bright side and all that. With this new Kekkei Genkai, he had yet to another thing that separated him from Naruto and Sasuke. If he played his cards right, he could learn all about it and then surprise them with all new kinds of cool jutsu. Cain decided he'd do what he'd always did. He'd keep this to himself. The only person he could really rely on was himself. Naruto grabbed his hand and all but dragged him behind her. Cain snapped back to reality at this, realizing they'd come to the intersection the three teammates always split up at. And Sasuke was already long gone. Naruto kept mumbling to herself about stupid D-ranks and need to kick his ass again, I think. Something else he couldn't really hear. Itching powder? He wasn't sure. Cain just continued allowing himself to be dragged along. He had to admit, it was pretty fun watching Naruto vent to the air. Upon reaching her house, she turned and gave him a frustrated look. "You're sick too much." Cain blinked. "Pardon?" "You're sick too much. You keep missing training and missions. We've only been on a team together for a little over 2 months, and you've missed an entire week already." Cain flinched at that. "Sorry." "It's fine. I mean, it's not fine. I don't want you to keep getting sick, but I'm not mad at you," she muttered. Cain was confused at where this was going. "Look, just from now Oh, look, just from now on, you walk me home, okay? She gave him a no-nonsense look with a single raised eyebrow. What? Kane asked in surprise. Okay, she said more forcefully. Kane just nodded dumbly. Naruko gave him a tight smile. Thanks. She leaned forward and pecked him on the cheek. See you tomorrow. Tate bayo. And she walked away. What just happened? As Kane sat in the library going through some old books on water ninjutsu, he played with the water resting on the table. He took a handful from the river and brought it with him, and dropped it right onto the table. He was able to make the water move around as he pleased, and even if he ignored the water and let it soak into the hardwood, he could reform it whenever he wanted. Well, he wasn't sure about that. There may be some sort of time limit, but as long as he didn't wait too long, he could do it for sure. He was very confused at this weird Genkai. First off, it didn't require any hand signs whatsoever. Hell, he didn't even have to be looking at the water to know where it was and bend it to his will. It did require chakra and consumed a bit of it steadily as he continued to manipulate the liquid, but it wasn't much. The more water he controlled at a time, the faster his chakra depleted. Again, not much. He wondered how much he could manipulate at a time. He wondered how much his limits were in regards to chakra and chakra consumption while doing this. Questions for later. Another thing he didn't understand. He could physically control the water. However, he still couldn't perform even the most basic of water ninjutsu, not even the D-ranked ones. It was strange all around. Ouch! Kane whispered out loud as he cut his thumb on the book when attempting to turn the page. Damn paper cut. Kane went to wipe off the drop of blood on his finger, and he froze. The blood was slowly rising upwards, just like the puddle did that first night. End of chapter 10. It's been a long time, but I'm back. It's chapter 10. We got a lot more left. There will be more. Thank you for tapping in. This is Bloodbag by Traydox, read by God Emoji. And I'll see you guys next time.